The movie The Last Emperor by Bernardo Bertolucci is a movie that so many people they watch before coming to China. The movie actually got an Oscar in 1987 and it was filmed right behind me inside of the Forbidden City. In so many ways, this movie has defined the idea about China during the dynasties in the Western mind. So we think it's interesting today to look at where was Bernardo Bertolucci actually not completely correct. So we have found three mistakes in The Last Emperor that we would like to present to you.
15 love. Play.
Reginald Johnston is the white man in The Last Emperor, understood in the sense that he's the guy that a Western audience can relate to. In the movie The Last Emperor, he has got this role of representing civilization. He is introducing the emperor to Chemis and he gives him a bicycle and he shows how a lot of the old ceremonies they are out of touch with reality. But in reality, then Reginald Johnston was actually a whole other character than the way he is described in The Last Emperor. He was eccentric like we see it, but in the movie, he splits with the emperor when he is beginning to work together with the Japanese. And that is not at all true. Reginald Johnston actually hoped that the Qing dynasty would be restored again. And in many ways, he sympathized with what the Japanese was doing in Asia. And when he went back to England, he would actually get a whole lot of heat from Chinese people studying in China because they would demonstrate against him and his support for the last emperor, even though he had become the leader of the vassal state Manchukuo. And on his island, where he lived, he would actually fly the flag of Manchukuo, enraging the Chinese in England.
Nonsense.
The second mistake is Puyi's relation to women. I'm standing next to the chamber where the empress would stay 1 month after the wedding. In the movie, it is described as if Puyi and the empress Wanrong has a very hot encounter in here. But in reality, Puyi is saying that he actually did not really spend the first night with his empress. He only climbed up to look into the chamber and see what she actually looked like. The last mistake we have found is the very end scene of the movie. Here in the midst of the Cultural Revolution, the last emperor enters the Forbidden City from where he once ruled one last time. This is a mistake. In 1967, the last emperor, he was sick with cancer, and actually the whole Forbidden City had been closed off, so it was impossible to enter. But this is one of the places where Bertolucci can be excused for playing with history, because the last emperor actually did come in here in the 1960s. His wife is in her diary writing that during the weekends they would actually often come in here. And sometimes the emperor would even interrupt tour guides and correcting small details about how they describe life inside of the palace. So this is one of the places where you could say that Bertolucci playing a little bit with history is very much justified. And we hope that if you have also found places that you think was not exactly accurate, that you will leave a comment below.